everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Melody.
And welcome to Double Trouble. Today we're taking a look at a game called Nomads. In Nomads, it's, what does it say when it happened? I don't know. It's based on something called the Legends of Luma, and you can go more to the website legendsofluma.com and find more about that. We didn't do that. But, so in this game, you're telling stories around a campfire. And long ago. Okay, that's a theme. It's not really thematic, right? We're just picking up tiles and trading them in for cards. But, let me show you. So you're going to have a bunch of tiles here that are placed randomly on the different spots on this board. You're going to place one of these discs here. These are Nomads that are outside the board. You're going to put an arrow piece. I am actually, for some reason, missing that arrow piece, so we're going to use this little triangle instead to point at one of these sections here on the board. Players are then going to take turns putting out their discs on top of these other discs on the board. So each player has 2 discs, except the green player has 3 discs. That's their special ability. So you'll be able to put these discs out on different spots. So, after you place these discs, the game is going to get started. So on your turn, you are either going to move and listen to stories or write a song or legend. Well, at the beginning of the game, you're going to move and listen to stories. So you'll pick up a stack that has your color on it. So let's say I'm the black player. I'll pick this up, and then I'm going to move the pile of sticks in either direction, the pile of discs. So I have 2 here. I would move 2 this way or 2 this way. Well, I'm going to go this way. Each time I stop by a spot, I drop 1 disc off. After I'm done dropping the discs off, everybody who has a disc on one of these is going to get that disc. So the black would get these 2 discs. The red player would get these. The purple would get this one. This moon here goes up in the corner of the board. No one gets this one because there's no one there. And Nomads here, no one gets it. If you were playing with fewer than players, there would be maybe a neutral player on the board, and then that tile is just discarded. And that's it. That's what you do. So as you can see, as time goes by, the number of discs you have might be bigger. So purple might do this later on, and then on a future turn, they'll pick that up and do something like that. Each of the players also has a special ability. One person can drop off 2 discs when they're at a spot. One can skip a spot. Like I said, the green player has extra discs. So that's the move and listen to stories. If you take an action in which you want to write a song or legend, you're trading in tiles of certain types to get cards. So if, for example, I have these 3 tiles here, I can trade these 3 in and take this card, which is worth 3. I can also trade in maybe 5 different tiles to take this musical instrument here. It shows that I need 5 different. You're only allowed to have 1 of each of the types. Now, when you write a story or a legend, the song is at the top, the legends are at the side. You can only have 1 card of each legend, but you can get a higher one. So let's say I pay these 3 and take this 3, and later on I get 2 more. I can trade those 2 and put the 3 back and take the 5. Now, these are important because they're worth points at the end of the game. And there's also a few, I'm not sure what stack they're on, somewhere in here. There's a few wild tiles that count as anything that you can use here. Now, when enough moons come out to make a full moon over here, and this can happen 2 or 3 times over the course of the game, then an intermediate scoring happens. Each player is going to score these moon tokens. Now, first of all, you're going to score points. You're going to get cards for the points of the cards that you have. And you also lose a point for every tile you have in front of you. So if you're saving up a lot of tiles to get something, you can get really nailed by intermediate scoring. Whoever wins in intermediate scoring, whoever has the highest score, is going to get 3 moon tokens, which are worth a point at the end of the game, and second player will get 1 of them. So there's possible scorings, but the game will also end when there's only 2 piles left, and at that point, you're going to add up all the points for any legends and songs that you have, and again, 1 point for each of the moon tiles you've gotten, and lose a point for each tile that you have in front of you. The tiles are good and colorful. Not only are they different colors, they also have all different symbols on them, and so they're easy to tell apart. The legend cards are wonderful. They kind of even show a story. You know, here you have life coming forth onto a planet. This one, you have two, some sea beasts meeting each other. Did one swallow the other? I'm not really sure what happened there. That's really cool. The discs themselves are really nice. They're nice and easy to put down. The board itself looks good. It's actually 4 puzzle pieces put together around in one. There's only one major problem with the components for this game, and that is the box itself. Now, the box itself is nice because it has spots to put all the tiles and everything inside it. And then you slide this lid on. Here's the problem. When you slide a lid on, the game looks like it's meant to be stood up. If the game stood up, and I mean it looks like it's meant to be stood up, and you pull this off, all this stuff falls right out. Even if the boards are against it, it doesn't matter. It's going to fall. And I found that to be problematic. I'm not a big fan of this box for this particular game. But other than that, everything is beautiful. I think there's no question the game looks beautiful. It's a really nice looking game.
Yeah.
Well, you don't like the box, I know that.
I do not, especially since you decided to open it, testing it out right after, and then filled all the pieces I had just
I did not know that was going to happen. I was like this, and Melody was like, no. I was like, why? And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I open it like this.
So this is based on what, obviously?
Campfire stories.
Okay, I was going to say Mancala.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so essentially you're just picking up a stack and moving around. You don't have a lot of choices because you have 2 discs. And you can pick each disc up.
Unless you're green, then you have the third one.
That's true. But most of the time you have 2 discs, and you're going to pick them up and move them in either direction. Sometimes your discs are in the same stack, in which case you have 1 stack that you can move. And then you just pick where you move things. That's one choice. The other choice is when to buy cards.
Yeah.
Now, if this was like most games, in most games you're like, I'll get some stuff. Do I save it for a long time and buy big things, or do I buy small things?
This one, buy the small things.
Right, because if the intermediate scoring comes up, you will get nailed to the wall for not having many points. And so you don't have those tiles in front of you because you lose points for that. Now, I should have mentioned this in the thing. There's no real good way to keep score in this game. You have to kind of just do it on a piece of paper or an app or something. I wish there were like point tokens or something. But then they're already kind of filled this box full of a lot of other stuff. But what did you think about the picking the discs up and moving them around?
I thought that was actually kind of fun. I liked how you kind of like counted which space you might go on and like see if you can like kind of change it up a bit with whatever ability you have. Because you try to get on like that one thing that'll like get you more pieces, unless you don't want that because there's like the last moon that's still out there somewhere. So.
That's true. I mean, Melody mentioned that the moons. So you want to not have too many moons come out unless you feel like you're going to do well in scoring. Mm-hmm. You want to cover up other people if possible with the Nomads. And you want to get good stuff for yourself. So sometimes you'll sit there and go, I have no real good to move to make. Maybe I should trade in some tiles now.
Yeah.
And then there's at the top, the musical instruments and different tiles. You need to figure out the best time to do that. Because you can get rid of a lot of tiles that way, but you're also wasting a lot of tiles on what's basically just a few points.
Yeah.
Although maybe it's not a few points, because if you, let's say I have 6 different things and I take the 4-point tile, that's 4 points I just got. Mm-hmm. And if the intermediate scoring just happened, I would have lost 6.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of an interesting thing to me. The game is not a heavy game at all. It's light. It says 40 minutes on the side, but I think it's actually much faster than that. Maybe a half hour easy. Especially if you play with fewer players. I found the game like cathartic. Just made me feel good. Ooh, I'll pick a piece up, move around, take some tiles, change these tiles in. You know, except for the intermediate scoring, which is like, hey, come here, I'm in intermediate scoring. What'd you think of the game overall?
I really liked it. I did like trying to think, okay, I'm going to try to figure out if I can try to get this color, if I can get this card. I did learn like later on in the game that when you buy a card, if you already have like that color, you don't need to buy, like, you don't need 5 tiles, you just need like 3 plus like that card plus whatever card tiles you have. Which is another reason why you should buy low first, because it's easier to get the higher ones if you do that.
Yeah, this game isn't like a push your luck game, really. It's buy as soon as you can afford it, usually. Although sometimes you want to buy, but if you're like, ooh, if I do this, I'll get 2 more tiles. And you may decide to do that. Beautiful production for me. A simple, fun game. I enjoyed this one a lot. I would give this maybe a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'd give it a 7 too.
Copycat, I said it first.
I thought it first.
Oh. Nomads. All right, there you go. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Melody.
And you've been watching Double Trouble.
Boom!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.